Hey everybody, it's Brooklyn, and this is First Time Moms, the podcast, episode 8, part 1. So this part is for the soon-to-be mothers who are anticipating giving birth sometime soon. And then also for moms, first-time moms, by the way, a few months right after you give birth. So to begin, I know some of you guys are doing your monthly appointments, your bi-weekly appointments, or your weekly appointments. When you're at those appointments, of course, you're there to get like your different checks, check on you, check on baby. But I want you guys, especially when you get closer to your 36-week mark, to start asking questions about what your delivery team will look like. Who are those people? What do they consist of? Is it men? Is it women? Is it your OB? Will it be midwives? Will it be doulas? Like who all will be there? Will it be nurses from the hospital? What hospital will you go to? I know it's COVID, so some hospitals before COVID would do tours, and now because of COVID, some hospitals aren't really doing tours. But if you can get a tour done, do that. If they have some videos or something like that of the maternity ward or labor and delivery area, make sure you look into that. You want to be as prepared to bring that baby into the world as possible. So I would treat these weeks in preparation for your labor and delivery as like an interview process. Like, okay, for me, I had the OB. I wanted her so bad, but they did a rotation, so I ended up getting one of the midwives. Well, one of my midwives were mild-mannered, while the nurse from the hospital in the labor and delivery area was really aggressive. She was the aggressive one was the one that kind of helped me, because she's like, all right, Brooklyn, come on, let's go. That's what I needed. I didn't know to ask these questions. I didn't know when I was getting ready to have the baby what it would be like. So all I kept thinking was, I just want a natural birth. I just want a natural birth. I just want a natural birth. I want to do it in a tub, no medications, anything like that. Ladies, know your options. So talk to your doctors about different pain management options. One of the nurses talked me out of something because she said, oh, I took it. It made me sleep. It made the baby sleepy. It was a really bad there That was her experience. Same thing with me. I had Pitocin and an epidural. I would never do it again. I had a bad experience. Those are my experiences. There are people who say the epidural worked for them. There are people who say the epidural didn't do anything but cause them back problems. It's really up to you. Make sure you are doing your homework. You want to know what pain management options there are. What will it look like when you're giving birth? Because for me, they had me legs up and I'm holding my legs. So literally like in a squat with my legs up to my chest on my back with an epidural. So I couldn't feel my behind and my legs, but I could still feel my contractions and the pain. Speaking of contractions, for me, my contractions was in my little fupa area. Y'all know what that is. So my contractions were in my fupa area, and it would be like an intense wave. Like it would just come on and it would be like pain. Like literally like somebody went boom, punched me dead in my gut. And then it's like it starts to wear off. And that would last probably a minute at the longest, 60 seconds at the longest. When it's time for you to push that baby, they're going to use those contractions to help you push the baby. So when that pain comes, that's the signal for, all right, push the baby. I don't know if you knew this or not, but make sure whoever you have with you, I know like of course I had to have my husband. I couldn't just not having my husband, but I do know next go around, I think I'm going to do a lot more communicating to him. And I'm also going to encourage him to be more supportive and help me through. It was funny because all the way up until it was time for me to have that baby, I wanted him to rub my back and console me. But then when it came time to actually have the baby, I'm like, don't touch me. Do not touch me. What are these people doing? Talk to them, tell them. But unless you're in there with somebody that just recently had a baby and their experience is close to yours, nobody can really truly advocate for you but you. Which brings me to my next point. Make sure when you're having your appointments, if you have any concerns at all, any questions at all, bring it up to your OB team. In those weekly appointments, that's the perfect time to do it. If you're concerned that the baby's not moving that much, if you're concerned that the baby's moving too much, if you're concerned that your feet are starting to swell, if you're concerned because you're not sleeping at night, if you're concerned because your back hurts when you sit for too long and then you stand up, whatever changes you notice is happening in your body, make sure you talk to them. And don't just let them get away with, oh, you're a first-time mom, or, oh, yeah, that just happens. Ask them questions why. Like, it's your body. You deserve to know why. I think a lot of the time, at least from my experience, whenever I'm in pain or something happens, I kind of sweep it under the rug, or I kind of endure as long as I can until, like, the ish has hit the fan. I don't want you guys to go through that, especially if you don't have to. Please make sure you are speaking up for yourself. In the heat of the moment, this is going to be the worst pain you ever feel in your life. Do you want happy, jolly people there? Do you want a mixture of happy, jolly, and aggressive? Do you want aggressive? Do you want 3 people? Do you want 4? What do you want? Also, keep in mind, when the baby comes, the baby comes. So, the hospital night shift may consist of one group of people, and the hospital night shift may consist, or day shift may consist of another group. So make sure you're asking those types of questions, like, all right, who works night shift, who works day shift? If I go in, can I eat? Can I not eat? Ladies, you will not be able to eat. They gave me ice chips. I was starving. I came in the hospital at 3 a.m. I did not eat until 9 o'clock at night. If you, I've heard before, bring your snacks so you can eat your snacks. They told me I couldn't eat because just in case I was to have a C-section. Mind you, this wasn't my OB. This wasn't my team that I work with. This is hospital staff. So those types of questions are important to ask. What is the hospital staff like? Because for them, they push out babies all day, every day. For your staff, for the people that you work with, they may rotate, so they do it every now and then. And then also too, your staff from the OB, I'm gonna say the OB squad. OB squad may not work in the hospital, may not work with the hospital staff as much, may not get along, maybe do get along. All of these things you're not even thinking about because you just ready to see your baby. Make sure that you're asking these questions. Make sure that you get a lot more insight, because you deserve to know as much as possible for when the big day comes. For me personally, I would definitely encourage you guys to hold out as long as you can to go to the hospital. Make sure you eat. Make sure you rest. Make sure you meditate. Make sure you and whoever is going to be in that room with you are on the same page for when it's time for you to have that baby. Let me look to my notes. I can't remember what all I wanted to tell you guys about. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So the second part, well, this isn't part 2. Part 2, I'm going to re-record part 2. But the second part of what I want to say is, ladies, try that. Breathe. Inhale, hold it. Exhale, relax. Once you have your baby, don't forget to breathe. And I don't mean hectic breathing. I don't mean normal, unconscious breathing. I mean seriously intentional breathing. To relax yourself, to take time to yourself, really to reset. Once you have that baby, literally everything you do, everything that you are, will be about that baby. And that could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing. It could just be a thing. For me personally, I just remember being anxious all the time and thinking like I didn't want bad things to happen. So I was negatively anxious. Like, these are all of the traumas and bad things that I don't want to happen to her. Everybody say like appreciate that time, focus on that time. I have a crybaby. So matter of fact, babies cry. When they first come, they cry. They don't know you. Yeah, that baby was inside of you. They know what you sound like on the inside. They know how your insides work. But once they're outside, They're terrified, they're cold, they're uncomfortable, they're trying to figure it out. The sounds on the inside, your voice and your spouse's voice, it's a little different. They're not going to come out like, oh, mama, I've been waiting to meet you. No, you may feel like that, but they won't feel like that. Another thing too, in my experience, I really wasn't like happy for real about motherhood until maybe like the second month. And I didn't have postpartum or anything like that, but having that baby for the first time is so much work. Like literally they don't move unless you move them. The only thing they really do is go to the restroom and cry. That's it. So you're changing diapers and you're managing cries all day, all night. Whether you have help or not, it may feel like sometimes your way is the way, or what works for you is supposed to work for other people. It may feel like sometimes you can't put the baby down because of mommy guilt, or you can't take a shower because what will happen to the baby while you're in the shower. I'm not even gonna tell y'all how to deal with that. I'm just telling you these are some of the things that happen when you first have a baby. Postpartum really could just be, I used to like watching shows. I don't like watching shows anymore because I'm exhausted. I haven't slept in days. Postpartum could look like I've sat in the house and now I have cabin fever. I just want to go outside. Go outside. Breathe. Take the baby with you if you can, or bring the baby back inside. It's really up to you. If you have some help, rely on your help. Rely on your support. If you are cautious about the type of advice that people are giving you, or you're cautious about, I guess, other people's ways of doing things, just let them know, hey, I really don't feel comfortable. You know, I'm new to this. I'm just trying it out. Just let them know how you feel. I know for me, my big thing was intentional speaking. So like somebody usually may be like, oh, this little heifer such and such, such and such. We can't talk about the baby like that. I want you to be intentional about what you say about her. Or if y'all don't do such and such, she gonna be like this. No, can't even do that. And that's just something that happened for me once I became a mother. You may experience something completely different. Formula is cow's milk. Formula is cow's milk. So I do not drink cow's milk. I drink almond milk. So, but I eat ice cream. And it's funny because during my pregnancy, I used to have huge ice cream cravings. I could eat ice cream about 4 or 5 times a week. When I was pregnant, that came down to maybe like 4 or 5 times a month. Probably not even that often. But my baby didn't take well to formula. I breastfeed and I do soy milk. It's really just figuring out what works for your baby. But also, guys, figure out what works for you. Take your time. Do what you can to help yourself. Parenting is not rewarding those first couple of months. It's not. Unless you have somebody there reminding you, saying that you're doing a really good job and you feel it and you accept it, you don't know that you're doing a good job. You don't, all you know is every month that the baby is alive still and well is like a celebration, a small celebration. But while you're hurting and your body is physically readjusting, you're sexually readjusting, your hormones are coming back. Whether you take vitamins or not may affect you. Whether you jump back on birth control or not may affect you. Take each day for what it's worth. Take your time. Relax. So I'm going to hit you with what I just discussed really quick to go back over it. Make sure you know who your delivery team will be. Make sure you know how they communicate. Make sure you know how they are in stressful situations. Make sure you know, if you want to know religious practices, whatever you want to know, make sure you know those things. I know the next time going in, I'm going to have a doula. To me, a doula is like a lawyer in the courtroom. I feel like everybody else is court appointed. They're there to do the job, to bring the baby out. I want to have somebody who has my best interest in mind, where we connect, we're on the same page, and they be the one who do the speaking to me when it's time for me to have my baby. I don't want to have a bunch of strangers in the room, or somebody who I met here and there. I honestly, the lady, my midwife, my team, only one of them I probably, if I seen them on the street, I would recognize. The rest of them I wouldn't even recognize. And these are the people that's bringing your child in the world. To some people that's a big deal, to others it's not. For me, that was a big deal. Pain management options. I would never get an epidural again. I would never take Pitocin again. I should have spoken to my doctors more often about pain management options. And don't let them get away. And I let mine get away with just giving me basic trivial information. Make sure that they're going through with details about stuff. And if they can't, guys, guess what? You can find somebody else. Also, too, parenthood is not rewarding at first. It's not. It's extremely stressful. They say sleepiness is equivalent to drunkenness. So imagine, like, literally being deprived of sleep, or running off of just a few hours of sleep, or you sleep in spurts. You are not going to be yourself mentally, let alone with the hormones of having a baby, let alone with, your body image concerns and just whatever else your mind does to you. Please make sure you stay busy doing something, but at the same time too, be busy keeping yourself grounded. Meditate, pray, and breathe. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, this is for the first time mothers who are about to give birth soon. I pray that you have healthy deliveries. I pray that you yourself are healthy. And that your network, your village, your tribe, the people around you that will cultivate the type of environment that your baby will be raised in. I wish you guys nothing but peace, joy, and prosperity. Take care, guys.